you on Voice of the Agua made statements during the course of the day. All right, we begin with Governor Mohammed backing Senator Ningi in his statement about the budget. Let's listen to what he had to say about that.
It's not for us to disparage our country. History was it was a double-edged sword. I was very sad. The Senate suspended one of our best from Bauchi for saying the truth, for standing up to be the beacon of truth. Senator Abdul Nengi, equally, I don't know what we will do, but we will discuss privately to see what we can do to support him, because I support him for whatever he's doing. That is the face of the opposition, especially if what he's saying is the truth. We'll make investigation to find out. I am not too quick to go to media, but certainly he has shown courage. He has shown that he is from Bauchi, and we have to be with him.
All right, that was Governor Mohammed making his statement and throwing a back behind Ningi, even though you know if what he's saying is true or not. Some of these politicians, you have to ask what exactly is, because he's from Bauchi State, is that why you're supporting him, or what exactly? Well, there's another statement here made by a senator talking about all the senators have 200 million naira each as their constituency projects, but he's a leader, and that's the difference. 10 of us are leaders, including those in opposition. And let's just get to find out what exactly was said.
In America, you stayed in America, you know, in the American politics, they call it pork barrel. Pork barrel. Mm-hmm. In fact, their own is worse than our own, if it is by that standard.
Because of the involvement of the lawmakers?
Yes, the lawmaker, if you give him the allocations for him, he decides what to do with that money in his constituency, and is given to them discretionarily, not the same. If you are an APC, you get more. If you are a Republican, and now in Nigeria, for example, in this thing, if you are, right now, it's Democrats that has the majority. So most of the Democrats, lawyers, and senators, lawmakers, have more than their counterpart as a Republican.
Is that what is playing out in the Senate?
No, we are very nice to PDP, despite the fact that they didn't treat us like that when we were...
But you got 500 million, and some of the ranking senators in PDP.
Put it in your record.
What did you get?
Wait now. Each senator. I don't want...
I mean, value of constituency project?
Allocated. Each constituency or each senatorial district, for example, all the senators have 200 million naira as their constituency project. But I'm a leader. And that is the difference. 10 of us are leaders, including the ones in the opposition. They get more than the
floor members.
The floor members. It's normal. It's they agree. But the difference now, is in those days anyway, that decision is taken by the senators. We have what they call Senate Budget Committee before. But now, the floor members entrusted that to the presiding officers. You understand? That's the difference. So most of the senators don't know what I get. And I will not tell you. Since I didn't tell my colleagues now.
You can tell us here.
No, are you better
some
than
of your concern?
No, but my colleagues know that I got better than them, more than them.
But you get up, maybe you got up to 1 billion.
It doesn't matter to you now. I told you my colleagues know that I got more than the 200.
Maybe 500
and
million.
there's some,
yeah.
That is the voice of the Chief Whip, Senator Ali Ndume, who is saying as a principal officer in the 10th National Assembly, he definitely got more than the 200 million naira allocated to his colleagues, and floor members got the constituency projects in the 2024 Appropriation Act. It's interesting that when it comes to money sharing, the Labour Party, the APC, the PDP, and every other political party, they're all united and speaking one voice, and they're so quick to compare themselves with America or Europe or wherever when it comes to things like this. But when it comes to other issues, you forget to compare yourself with other countries. It's really interesting what exactly is playing out as Senator Jarigbe yesterday, day before yesterday rather, he sort of upturned the Senate with his allegations that some senators are guilty of getting more money than others. And you begin to wonder, why are the leaders, quote unquote, senators that are leaders, why are they getting more money than other senators? Is it that they're doing more in their constituency projects? What exactly is the driving force, or what's the English now? English is hard. What exactly is the backing force, or what is the motive for giving them more money than the other senators? What exactly could that be? Well, there's a statement here about the Northern Senators Forum. Senator Abdul Ningi and the members of Southern Senators Forum have revived their forum, electing Senator Adetokunbo Abiri, representing Lagos East, as their chairman.
So we have been running. It's not as if we haven't existed. It has always existed. What we just have now is a change of leadership, because our former leader presently is the leader of the Senate, and of course we now have a new leadership, and we also will follow the line of direction that they are giving us. So it's a continuity. So you can rest assured that we all work together. Thank you very much.
All right, that was the new leader of the Southern Senators Forum, Adetokunbo Abiri, representing Lagos East. He's now the new chairman. And some people were asking, is it that you've been redundant since in your politics? Well, that is, what has been said in that particular conversation. Right now we have the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike making a statement about the kidnapping cases in Abuja. Let's hear what he had to say.
For example, you have a housekeeper in the house. Also, most of the kidnappings to you here sometimes are managed by people. There are some internal arrangements. Take, for example, you have a housekeeper in the house, you have a driver who plot to kidnap the child of their master. In that case, what do you want us to do? All we can do to say the person has been kidnapped is being released. But to stop it will be difficult, because it's an in-house arrangement where a driver that is involved to go and bring a child from school will mastermind the kidnapping. So these are the things we should know.
We're not talking about in-house right now. We're talking about kidnapping and abduction.
I said some of these too are internally arranged. I'm not saying that we don't have kidnappers. Mind you, two most wanted notorious kidnappers, we have gotten them. And that's why you see the level of kidnapping has reduced. So we are not saying that we're where we want to be, but we're doing a lot. And people must acknowledge that what used to be is not what we are seeing now. And we'll continue to do our best by providing the best for our people. That's what we're trying to say.
Thank you, sir.
We cannot give you the assurance that there will be no one form of criminality. Nobody can say that. As far as we are human. So,
that's it.
Thank you very much.
There's more that was said by the Chief Whip of the Senate, Ali Ndume, but we'll get into the meat of that with Rufai saying in just a moment. Let's go ahead and pay some bills. When we come back, we will be on the front page review proper. Thank you so much for keeping it locked right here. Remember that we'll be live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. We're live already anyway. Voice of the People Abuja. Join us on YouTube live, Voice of the People Abuja. You can actually join the WhatsApp platform. It is at 0700 010 961 961. 0700 010 961 961. Join us on WhatsApp. Let your voice be heard. Don't forget, we are the voice of the people. We can't do this, of course, without your voice. I'll be back in a moment.
News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports.
The Greek god in Rome!
business,
the exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.
health,
Help the patient as much as you can.
politics,
Everybody knew that I was just managing it.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, wicked.
Let the poor breathe.
security,
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
and your voice.
But immediately they assume what is, but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good roads, talk of some other things.
Bad roads, they should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
Family Live, a family-friendly program focusing on raising healthy families, dads, moms, and children. Listen to Family Live with the Family Man, Reverend Simon Asemota, Saturdays at 8 a.m. Exclusive to VOB 96.1 FM. Now you have a voice.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Frontpage Review. Weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
Good morning to you and welcome to the Front Page Review right here, where we cut across different newspaper headlines. We try as much as we can to dissect them in a way that makes sense to you as a Nigerian, and of course we give you a platform to air your views right here on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesire Agua. Of course, we're starting off with a lot of headlines, but one that is most important is the federal government ruling out ransom payment for the Kaduna students who were abducted, kidnapped in Kuriga, Kaduna State. Well, we'll check that out in just a moment, and we'll be joined by El-Rufai to help us do justice to these headlines. The federal government on Wednesday said it would not pay a dime as ransom for the release of over 280 pupils and teachers kidnapped from the GSS and LEA primary school at Kuriga, Kaduna State. The federal government said it had received offers of help from the United States and other countries to secure the students' release and was weighing the offer. But Mr. President has reiterated zero tolerance for the payment of ransoms. Rufai, good morning to you and welcome on board.
Morning, Gessie.
All right, we have the president saying no payment, zero tolerance for the payment of ransoms, and he has also directed that no ransom will be paid by the government to any of these criminal elements. Mr. Rufai, what exactly do you think about this?
The truth has to be said. If you don't want to pay ransom to bandits, ensure security. Then tell your security boys to go in there to get them out. But if you are saying no payment, and at the same time we're hearing Shegumi talking, and people are listening to his voice, forget all of that. Negotiations will go on. So let's stop deceiving ourselves. No payment, yes. No government will anyway. No government will really come and tell you they paid ransom or they are negotiating with bandit. So let's just do what is right and ensure security.
All right. In ensuring security, we're hearing talks about help from the United States and other countries to help in this fight against insecurity. What exactly is your take on this? Should we even be entertaining the idea?
It's not today we've been partnering with them. You remember when Chibok girls were kidnapped then? You know that it's not even only America. All the nation states of the world came to come and help us, and they have their military troops and everything in Abuja. But all of a sudden that partnership died out. So why are we deceiving ourselves? Anyway, until we start to see results, that's when we know that the partnership is potent. It's not today we've been hearing help from. Not today. There's, I think, Obanga Express or something, where the United States Navy and our Navy across the Gulf of Guinea, we all do a lot of partnership and drill. And it's not today we have military partnerships. So I'm not surprised. But what is the result? That is the outcome we should be looking at.
Okay, because many Nigerians, they've been calling on the government to seek external support if necessary, because I mean we're over 10 years into this issue of banditry, kidnappings here and there. I mean, it's worse off now, but we've been facing insecurity.
It's not today, Gessie, my sister, that they've been seeking external support. All of those things are not new. But are we going to allow the external support hold sway? Those are the questions we should ask ourselves that we don't answer all the time. That's just it. It's not today.
All right. Still on this issue of security, right? We had Senator Ali Ndume talking yesterday on the news, and he was talking about the fact that, yes, he thinks that some of these orderlies should be called back and they should help in the fight against insecurity, that some of the personnel that are, helping the VIPs, they called back. When Egbeto came into power, he said some of them have been called back to work with the headquarters and all that. But we're not sure, as this issue of security men, policemen who have been stationed with VVIP, Nigerian VVIP men. What exactly is that situation all about? How exactly can we even fight that? Because when one makes a statement, oh, you guys should come back, we see them still with the VVIPs. We still see them walking around holding the bags.
Ali Ndume that made this decision should start by surrendering all his police protection so that he can go and fight insurgency first. He should lead the way. And others will follow. Have you not been so? He should lead the way. He should submit all his police protection, so that we will not have any police mopo following him around. If there are any further, they should lead the way by submitting his mopo first, and they should go there. It's not as simple as that.
All right, this fight against insecurity, right? Some people have been arguing that since we saw a former military man in the person of Muhammadu Buhari, he sort of quote unquote failed on the fight against insecurity. What are the chances that someone who doesn't have a military background and all that will do a better job at it? Someone who doesn't necessarily
it's not by military background. What you have as as a military officer is knowledge of weapons, knowledge of military strategy and all of that. But this strategy in this warfare is fast evolving. We've tried many strategies. We've tried a super camp. We've tried other strategies. It's not working. And you see, no matter how brave you are as a military man, fighting this kind of warfare where you have a ragtag army, not a defined army, is always problematic. So the question is, what is the multi-pronged approach? Are we going to use, empowerment as a means also to be able to, bolster what is happening as regards also when we also use force? I mean, you don't need to have a military background to stop a war. I keep telling the story of Hernando de Soto, very prominent professor. He ended the war in Peru with the Shiny Path Rebel. The Shiny Path Rebel had been fighting for so many years, and he discovered that if you give people property rights, the war was going to be over. And at some point, in no time, the people that were supporting the Shiny Path Rebel stopped supporting them. So the question is, what environment have we created that makes it conducive for the crime economy to continue in the north? That's what we should try to break. Once we break that, then we can ramp up, and then we put people back on their feet.
All right. We know that our security is one of the best in Africa. We've heard that, that particular line, we're the best in Africa, we're one of the best in Africa. Is there something else that we should be adding? Because we've done different things. There are different operations, different operations here and there fighting this issue of insecurity, yet we're not seeing we're not holding our head above water at this point in time.
What is happening in the Northeast is more than operations. It's, like I said, there's an economic angle to it. So it has to be a multi-pronged approach. There's also a media angle to it. Let's not deceive ourselves. So it has to be, there are many layers to it. But over the years, I'll tell you something, the government has allowed this happen. And I'll tell you how. In the early 80s, when the Metiseni riots happened, something was very prominent. They did a panel of inquiry report to see why that riot could happen. And they discovered that there was massive unemployment. This was even the early 80s when Nigeria was still doing better economically. There was massive employment and the conditions were rife for insurrection. And they said in that report that you must be able to fix the problems with the young people and youth restiveness at that time. It's that report that we had since the 80s that we never fixed the problem that is now happening today. Because the economy, see, everything is done around an economic condition. I just told you about the Shining Park rebel and Fernando de Soto. So we must be able to nip all of this in the bud by doing what is right. But here we're not ready. We're not ready to fix the economy. The senators are so concerned about how to pad the budget and all sorts for their own selfish interest. They're taking so much in constituency project back home, but the money is not trickling down to the people. So there's so much that needs to be done.
All right, let's move away from security and move on to the National Assembly. I mean, we saw all the issues that played out, and Senator Jarigbe, the statement he made about 500 million naira that was being given to leaders in the National Assembly. Is there a law backing this? Is there a reason why we should see, because we saw Senator Ali Undume yesterday talking about the fact that he obviously gets a lot more for constituency projects. He didn't want to mention the figure, but he said, vehemently that he got way more than the other senators. Is there a reason why leaders of the Senate should even be getting more than others? Are we even seeing the constituency projects in the first place?
All right. Thank you so much. I guess I will call you back afterwards, and I will talk to you afterwards, sir. Okay. I'll talk to you afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Mr. Rufai has to leave for now. I'm sure he'll try to reach us in just a moment, but join the conversation. It is at 0700 010 961 961. A lot of Nigerians have been asking this question about constituency projects fraud, and we saw last year there was an issue where the ICPC recovered over 2.8 billion naira in 3 years from constituency project funds. Yesterday, Rufai and I spoke about the fact that we've been seeing different constituency projects. In the name of constituency projects, you see some very, very I don't know, embarrassing projects that some of these lawmakers, put in place. We saw last 2 years when there was the issue of flooding in Edo State. We saw some of the roads, the drainage system that a senator, a lawmaker did as a constituency project, a laughable project at that. We've seen the senators do some sort of projects that you begin to question how much. If you're getting 200 million naira in constituency projects alone, don't forget that they also have the ZIP CP, that is the ZIP appropriations and capital appropriations as well. You also have issues of this particular nature, talking about fraud in different ways, where senators award the contracts to individuals who are linked in one way or the other to themselves. You have issues, especially within the National Assembly. So the question now is, if the senators, the lawmakers whose jobs it is to perform oversight functions on the executive, are in themselves fingered in one way or the other by misappropriations of corruptions or monetary fraud here and there, who then will perform an oversight function on the National Assembly? Is there even a way forward for Nigeria at this point, where you have monies that we're talking about an over-bloated cost of governance? We're talking about issues where Nigerians can't even find one meal, not to even talk about a 2 or 3 square meal a day. But we're seeing senators getting 500 million, over 200 million naira worth of constituency projects. Do we even see them do those projects? I come from a state, Bayelsa State, where I do not think that my senators have done anything so far in terms of constituency projects, especially in my own local government area. In my own Sagbama local government area, you'd be hard pressed to find one tangible project. If you have a project that your senator has done that is laudable, that is worth it, then go ahead and give us a call this morning so we can have a very balanced conversation. Because it's one thing to argue with senators that they're not doing their jobs, but the ones who are doing their jobs, maybe we should be touchlighting on them as well. The platform to call is 0700 010 961 961. 961 0700 010 961 961. Go ahead and give us a call this morning, and let's find out if your senators are doing their constituency projects laudable enough, worthy enough to say, okay, this is a project that this senator has done that we can applaud and say well done. Go ahead and give me a call, 0700 010 961 961. Of course, we're live on YouTube. It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Send us a message, leave a comment right there, or a WhatsApp message on 0700 010 961 961. We'll try as much as we can to reach out to Mr. Larry Oguego so we can have continue our conversation on the headlines this morning. All right, we have Mr. Larry joining us this morning. Good morning to you and welcome on board.
How are we this morning?
We're good. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let's talk first of all about this issue of no ransom payment and what the government should do. You're saying you don't want to pay ransoms. Then what then are you doing to secure the release of these individuals? Because we were talking over 287 in Kaduna State. We're also talking 60 something as well in Borno. We're talking in different places. This is a lot. So what should the government be doing, especially as regards securing the release of these individuals?
Actually, we have a Hobson's choice here. We're actually between a rock and a hard place. There's between the rock and the deep blue sea. The truth is that if we say we won't pay ransom, then we should have a viable plan for rescuing the young ones unhurt, for rescuing the victims of the kidnappers unhurt. And one must also think about the reason Mr. President said we won't pay ransom. These kidnaps are economically motivated. The kidnappings are basically for the purpose of ransom. And then when they get the ransom, they use the ransom to strengthen their capacity to terrorize us even more. They buy weapons, they buy their surveillance equipment, they take care of themselves and probably strengthen their networks. They do a whole lot with the money that makes it possible for them to do more damage. However, if you say you won't pay the ransom, if the president says we won't pay ransom, then it means there must be a viable plan to rescue the children. The parents are more concerned about the safety of their children than rhetorics or what they do with money or what they don't do with money. But I think we can do better than what we're doing presently. Just that we have always been reacting. We never really had clear plans about managing such situations. Yes, we've seen a few drama on television in Nigeria as per, we're training special squads that can rescue people. We see some interesting drama, but it's not about drama. The people have been rescued in Nigeria before now, both locally and internationally. Speaking about the American boy that was rescued, and then, of course, I am aware that a kidnapped victim had been rescued in the southeast before. I don't want to go into how he was rescued, but he was actually rescued, and the people who kidnapped him were killed in the process. He was rescued because of his status and his relationship with a certain military institution in Nigeria. So that tells you that in certain circumstances, people are deployed to rescue certain persons. So we are also aware that when the relation of a certain minister was kidnapped way back, we rescued the person. So it means that rescue is possible. However, rescue in such large numbers may not be as easy as rescue one person.
Exactly, because Mr. Larry, we've seen situations where some of these guys use the kidnapped victims as body shields, as shields. They use some of the children.
Yes, and apart from using them as body shields, if they kidnap 200 persons, they don't keep them in the same place. So if they kidnap 200 and they keep them in different places, 10 here, 20 here, 30 there, it becomes difficult to rescue them. So what it means is that we need real expertise. We need to have people who can help us with surveillance and intelligence gathering. We need people who have managed high profile rescue operations. In Europe and America, you don't hear about government paying ransom. You rarely hear such stories because they have a clear vision about managing such situations. People are trained in advance. They have their SWAT groups. They don't joke about it. The Israelis don't pay ransom. Their own is simple. If you deal with them, they give it right back to you. But they are ready. So rhetorics won't cut it. I think what we need to do is to begin to look for alliances, for partnerships that will help us strengthen our capacity to first of all prevent. It's easier to prevent than to cure. We have this organization where we say that prevention is better than cure, but we also add that it is cheaper than cure. We don't forget that. It's cheaper than cure. So if we can prevent, it will save us the rhetorics. Assuming we were better able to monitor the movement of 500 bandits. I mean, even from space, you can see 500 bandits, not a small number. They were moving in the morning. And this is not a rainforest situation. I mean, you're talking of a savanna kind of foliage. So you could see the people clearly. But the point is that we are not thinking about those things. Our leaders are not focusing on solving this problem. Because even if 30 persons are moving together, you can see them from space. That is, there are countries that can tell us they are moving. Look at where they are going. There are 50 persons on a bike going south. They can geolocate them. You can know where they are per time. But we are not interested in those things. We are interested in making statements that the perpetrators of this dastardly act must not go unpunished, that they will face the full wrath of the law. My pain is that the perpetrators don't ever get punished, and they don't even face the half wrath of the law most of the time. So, I think we need to just get Mr. President to understand that people will pay ransom if they don't have alternatives on how to rescue their children. That's the truth of the matter. So the sooner he can rescue those guys, the sooner we can begin to talk about who won't pay ransom again. But if they are not rescued, once people are desperate, they pay ransom because they want their kids alive.
All right, we'll continue this conversation and look at what the government can do to ensure citizens themselves who see these individuals moving in such large quantities, what can they even do? How can they incentivize these individuals to actually come out and talk? Okay, let us know. We saw these individuals here. We saw these people here. What can we do about that? But we'll get that in a moment. We want to reach back with Rufai. He's calling back. So let's finish that conversation and then we'll jump into that in full.
Yes, I'll be standing by.
All right, we're joining Rufai Seni in just a moment, just to continue and finish up our conversation on this issue of the senators and their constituency projects. That's what we're talking about before he let us go at the time.
Hello, Gessie. I just wanted to apologize. I had to end abruptly, so let me just end properly. So sorry that I had to go abruptly. Thank you so much for having me, guys, this morning. Thank you.
All right, are you leaving?
So the issues I couldn't take today.
Yes.
I'm leaving, right? So the issues I couldn't take today, I'll definitely take them tomorrow. So please just roll them over. Apologies. Please, my apologies. I just had to do it properly. Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rufai Seni. Let's pay some bills. When we come back, we'll be joining Larry Oguego in full to talk about this issue of the senators and their constituency projects, the amount of constituency fraud that we've seen, especially within the National Assembly. And then we talk about security. And is it possible that 287 individuals will be passing in vehicles and you can't even let Nigerians or the security agencies know? Is there a reason why we're having individuals who are not incentivized enough to report these bandits to the federal government or the security agencies. We'll check that out in just a moment. But first, let's pay some bills.
As a sharp business owner, you know you need to advertise your business, right? You need the adverts. So, what better platform to advertise than with VOP 96.1 FM? Our rates are friendly, our reach extensive. Take that bold step and advertise that business today. Give us a call on 081 799 29729 or visit our office at number 4 Ogbomosho Street, Romeo's Pizza Building, Area 8, Abuja. See ya!
Today's sun is so hot though.
So what are you waiting for? Get the authentic taste of creamy cold berry ice cream. To order online from Gariki, call 090-8831-5907. Guarimpa 090-8831-5909. And Lugbe 090-8845-3416.
Enjoy authentic cold berry ice cream.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me, believe me.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
We bring you all the big stories and what's behind them. Politics, business, sports, news, all on VOP 96.1 FM. Now you have a voice.
Welcome back. It's still the front page review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. And we've been talking with Rufai Sani and Mr. Larry Oguego. So we're talking a little bit about the, before in the conversation with Rufai, we're talking about the senators and their constituency projects. And with Mr. Larry, we're talking security. And just to pick up on that conversation, because we'll go back to this issue of constituency projects. Yes, because it's one thing that a lot of Nigerians, it's the reason why the National Assembly was created is so that there can be a representative of each constituency in the National Assembly so that voices, just how big Nigeria is, everyone is felt or heard at the National Assembly. But how far does that even go to translate into projects for Nigerians in their homes or in their villages is one question that is left to be answered. But on this particular one, we'll continue our conversation on insecurity. Welcome back, Larry, on this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Gesson.
All right. So before we went on a break, I was asking about this issue of Nigerians and their willingness to give information about these bandits. Is there reasons? Are there reasons rather why individuals will see these people, the kidnapped victims? They would see, because obviously they're not disappearing and reappearing at their hideouts. They're moving in troves, they're moving in groups, so individuals must have seen them. Nigerian citizens must have seen them in one way or the other at one time or point in time or the other. So is there a reason why we're not seeing Nigerians dishing out information as to the whereabouts of these bandits?
I think your first assumption that I do not agree with is that they don't even know where they are. Very often the indigenous know where they are. If you listen to the man who was former local government chairman in Kaduna that was describing their movement, he was actually saying that they were heading towards their hideout, that I don't know if they would have arrived by now. So the locals know where they hide. When we talk about these ungoverned spaces and all of that, you remember that the locals go to do their hunting, do their farming. They know strangers, they know themselves. So let us also, first of all, understand that the local population very often know where these guys hide. And this information I just reminded you of now is a factor when you talk about calling the security forces when they see them moving. They know that these guys are in this forest, and the security forces are supposed to know, and sometimes they also know that they are in this forest, and there is either no capacity or political way to go and move them out and, like they tell us on television, neutralize them. So if you are not willing to go and attack them on a good day, and then they are now moving and they are battle ready, and you are telling me to call you that you come and attack them. First of all, who do I call? That's number one. Do I have a number I can call? And secondly, if I call, will they respond? We know that we have this situation in the Plateau, especially in Plateau State, especially where they tell us repeatedly that they have called security agents when these guys threaten that they will come and attack them, and they don't come. So apart from the fact that there is no organized system for saying, oh, let us call the security. Who do we call? There is also no trust. There is no network. In Kuriga, the place where they carried the whole school away, more or less, they go to hills to make calls. That is, they have to climb a hill to get network. That is how bad your country is. That is, if you want to make a call, you start looking for network. You know, we have these jokes that sometimes tell the person climb a tree or climb a pole. It's like a joke, but for me, it represents how bad this nation is. We know that we have insecurity, and we cannot give these people maybe shortwave radios or even maybe satellite phones. You have some special persons who will say call security agents when you see these people. So what is wrong with giving a few persons binoculars or telescopic size to say if they are coming, call this person? You are not interested in protecting our people. Let me just say it the way it is. The rich men and politically exposed persons who are interested in protecting themselves take proactive measures to protect themselves. Let me explain what I mean in clear terms. If a governor is visiting a place or a president, they send an advance party to go and check if the place is safe for the visit. I'm trying to explain to you what it means to be intentional about security. They know that there could be a security threat. They send DSS, they send DMI, they send people to go there and check. Are there vulnerable spots here? So how do we manage your guard security? But because we are not important to them, they don't send any advance party, and there is even no present party when danger looms. So the point is that the leaders are not interested in our safety. They spend more energy arguing about their perks and benefits than they spend protecting us. And they forget that without us, there won't be any leadership. We can't be leading trees and grasses. If you are a governor of human beings. first and foremost. So I think we need to just understand what the challenge is. People don't trust our leaders, and they don't trust them for the obvious reasons. They don't take care of them. They don't care about them. They see them only after they have been kidnapped or there's a crisis. So when there's a crisis, you come and you tell them that you go after them, you get them, and you don't ever accomplish that promise. And they have seen it severally. So they also don't trust you to come to their aid if they make that call you're talking about, and the terrorists find out that, oh, you have been calling these guys and they don't come. Do you know what their fate will be? Because there's also a reprisal. If you remember, if you go through incidents, you know that sometimes they actually attack villages for giving information against them. I'm sure you've had that severally.
Yes.
So if we call and say they are coming, and then we're able to attack them, so what of tomorrow? Are you going to protect us tomorrow? So there's a trust deficit. The people don't trust their political leaders, basically because they don't care for them. If they care for us, the nation won't even be in this state. I am telling you. Go and look at everything. There is disparity in everything, not only security, education, welfare, everything. We live in two countries. The rich live in a different country in Nigeria, the poor live in a different country. So when you tell the poor to go and call the rich to come and help them, they know they won't come. That is the biggest problem, trust deficit, because of poor leadership.
All right, still talking about poor leadership and the trust deficit prevalent in Nigeria. Let's move on to the National Assembly and this issue of constituency projects where leaders, quote unquote, 10 leaders of the National Assembly are getting way more money for their constituency projects than the other senators within the same National Assembly. Is there a reason why we're even having some leaders getting more money? Is this constitutionally backed? Is there something going on that Nigerians should know about?
Well, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I was ashamed when Nduma was saying boldly that I got more. Yes, they know we are leaders, so we get more. But let me say this clearly. We have a dysfunctional National Assembly. We have a National Assembly that doesn't think about why they are there. This is very simple. Money should be allocated on the basis of need, not on the basis of the status of the senator. If what we are doing is constituency project, we are doing it for the people. So we should be able to ask ourselves, who needs more money based on need? That is why when there is a national disaster, we deploy money and resources to go and help our brothers and sisters in need. So the proper way to share constituency projects is to say, does anybody have extreme need? So we give the person more. Not does a senator have extreme greed, so we can give him more. That's not the formula. And that tells you that we have senators who go there basically to serve their pockets and not to serve the people. If they want to serve the people, they should have a feedback mechanism that will enable them to understand who has more problems. So the constituency project should be allocated on the basis of this feedback. So we have constituency offices and we have information on the different needs of the different constituencies, and they should be united in saying, oh, our brothers in this particular senatorial district are suffering. No, we have to give them a little more. That problem is acute. Our brothers here, yes, they may not be suffering as much, but they need resources also. So there should be a baseline, like everybody should get not less than 10 naira. But if you have extra need, we can give you this good. So they should be thinking about solving problems, not about who is a ranking senator, who is older than the other person. So we can give one person 20 naira and give another person 10 naira. Now the person you are giving 10 naira may have acute problems that can kill him, and you don't give him the money to solve the problem. Go and give another person because the senator is a ranking senator. Now what it tells you is that the constituency project is not about the constituency, it's about the senator. Now that particular situation is evidence that the constituency project was never about the constituency, it's about the senator. If not, the money should be shared on the basis of the need of the constituents, not on the basis of the rank of the senator. So it's a shame that we have senators who go there to share money on the basis of who they and how long they have been there. And they say we agreed. Who agreed with you? So did they agree on Abia? Did they tell us all these things before the scandal came? Did they operate their constituency offices? They should make account for the money they're giving for those constituencies. How often your own senator, ask your people, how often does he go to the constituency office to hold meetings? Do they even have staff there? Isn't it fraudulent to collect money to pay staff for your constituency offices and you don't even employ people? It's fraud. So these guys are not serious-minded people, really. If the people have knowledge of how much fraud that are perpetrated on Nigerians, how much unemployment they have created, because if they employ all the people they are supposed to employ, that they claim based on the monies that are being given that they're employing, they will at least have less unemployment. Even if those people are not working, let them get part of the loot. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So they are sharing the money on the basis of their personal needs, not on the basis of the needs of their constituents.
Okay. So let's move on to labor. Still, torchlighting the federal government in this conversation, right? The NLC, the TUC, and the federal government got into an agreement last year where the federal government had agreed to pay 35,000 naira wage award to workers for 6 months. This was because of the removal of petrol subsidy, last year. So that was supposed to be in tandem with the review of the minimum wage in 2024, right? So we saw that the federal government had promised 35,000 naira wage award to just because of subsidy removal to the workers. Now what we're seeing is state governors paying 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira to their workers. Mr. Larry, what exactly can we even talk about this particular situation? Because it's laughable. It's very, very laughable at this point.
They are giving them pocket money. Don't you understand? They are giving them pocket money, and you'll be surprised that some of the workers are even clapping for them. They say at all, nothing better pass. That's the kind of thing you hear on the streets. At all, nothing better pass. At least you don't bring something. They're giving them pocket money. That's the only interpretation. Pocket money gives them something. Nobody should tell me that they don't have money. If you check the amount of money that we spend to maintain these guys, to maintain all kinds of luxuries for the so-called political elite, for the governors, the commissioners and their aides, if you know the amount of money we spend to maintain them, you realize that we have more than enough to make this country a beautiful place. It's just an attitude. The governors think they're emperors, and the people are their slaves. So you don't give a slave on the basis of the need of the slave. You give a slave what we call survival ration. What a slave needs is enough to be alive, to serve you. A slave doesn't need what to be enough to be fat. The slave is very fat. That's part of the theory, and very strong. The slave will want to run a war, start fighting you. But when you give the slave survival ration, the slave will be just walking. When you give workers survival ration in Nigeria, that's what the politicians are doing. They will be too busy looking for food to feed their children. They'll be too busy looking for transport money. They won't be able to think clearly to say, these people are living large and we are suffering. So when you give them survival ration, their brains won't be functioning well. They'll be too busy seeking how to put food on their table. And that's what is happening in Nigeria, actually. That they deliberately impoverish people to the extent that they can't think clearly. So while you're thinking of how to survive, they are also feathering their nest even more. But the truth is that we have to get to that point where we rise above the survival ration and decide to hold them down. You see, the point is when a man is very hungry and very desperate, he can do two things. The first is to either resign himself to fate. The second is to attack the source of the impoverishment. Nigeria is getting to that point where one day the people no go agree again. They will attack the source of the impoverishment. And we pray that day won't come. EndSARS was a sample of the possibility. SAP riots was a smaller sample. So I'm just saying this for the benefit of the political class, if you are listening. If you impoverish a slave, we had slave riots way back in US, in Central America. There were real slave riots. So despite their hunger, they will say, no, we don't want this kind of treatment again. They'll protest. So I think the politicians should be careful. People have been saying this in different ways, and it's not penetrating their score.
All right.
The truth that they don't just want to take care of it. They're giving them survival ration so that they will just be surviving. Give them 10K now, give them something. When they hold it, they give them something. Just give them something. So at least make it be like, say, we give something. So they'll give them something.
All right. Thank you
and
so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for joining the conversation. We have bills to pay. Thank you so much for joining the conversation this morning.
It's my pleasure and my privilege, but for 30 seconds, I want to say something. Perfect example. A man called Omar Musa Yar'Adua, whom I love so much, stopped the trouble in the Niger Delta without weapons. But a man who had military experience before him, called Olusegun Obasanjo, failed with all the military he deployed. Sometimes you need wisdom. You study the problem, analyze it, find out what works, and deploy it. That's what we need to do at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful day.
And you too.
All right, to you listening, thank you so much for joining the conversation. But hey, we're not done with it yet. We need to pay some bills. We'll be back in just a moment. Let me take a short, very, very, very short break. I'll be back.
News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports. Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, wicked.
Let's be poor. Breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume what but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
Bye there.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala.
Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewo.
Edio.
Tutuama.
Heideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the morning ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's morning ride. Weekdays. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome back. This is still the front page review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. But I've got a guest in the studio this morning, Ebuka from BD Swiss. Good morning to you and welcome on board.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me once again. It's good to be here.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. So what do you have for the listeners today?
All right. Now, so BD Swiss has been running a wealth creation seminar for the past 2 months now. What we've been doing is going to we've been in Abuja, and then we've also been in other states. We are trying to get people knowledgeable about the financial market, what it offers, how they can partake, and then how they can get the skills, all right, to trade in this market. So what we've been doing, we've been having seminars, we've been educating people about financial market, how to trade the commodities market, the forex markets, and all of that. So we've had more than, let's even say 2,000 plus people, trained over 100 people. Okay, these are people that knew nothing about investing and trading the financial market that now understand how to do that. So we have seminars to go. All right, the next one will be on the 23rd of this month, where we would be, like we've always done, educating people about the skills involved in trading the financial market. So if you do not know anything about trading the forex market and you want to learn, or you are already a trader but you are not consistent, all right, or you feel like there are some skills that you need to triumph in forex trading, so what we want to do in a community of very knowledgeable, fearless traders and consistent traders. So that's why on the 23rd of this month we will be having the BD Swiss Wealth Creation Seminar once again, where I personally would be teaching and training people, educating people about what they can do, all right, in building assets, in building wealth, telling them that there is a gold mine on the internet. So this is what we have been doing for the past 2 months. And this is what
okay, so this trading of a thing, right, is it difficult?
Trading is, there's absolutely, let me say it like this, when you don't have the skill for anything, it's difficult, all right. Now the truth is that everyone that has gotten to a place of skill and excellence and competence took time,
effort. There's a process to all of these things. Okay, so is it easy? Yes, if you are skilled, if you have taken the time to grow and do all of that. But on the surface, it's not. All right. So this is why we encourage people to always go in depth and learn whatever it is they want to get involved in. When you get knowledge, when you are more informed, like I always say, anything is risky if you are ignorant about that subject. When you get ignorance and learn and be educated, then you can take away that risk, or you can learn how to manage the risk even though the risk is there. So trading, we tell people that it is really not easy, but you can learn and grow to a point of competence and excellence where it is second to none. It's an action that you can easily just do.
It's just muscle memory now.
Exactly.
All right, some people argue that they've lost a lot of money on forex, right? Is there a mechanism in place to prevent the amount of for you to lose the entire capital that you put in? Let's say you put in $100,
yes,
and you're trading with that $100, right? Is there a way to reduce? Let's say you are losing. Is there a way to just reduce that so that the market does not take your whole money?
Yes. Okay, so there's a major thing about forex markets that many people don't know. For forex market or trading the financial market is 80% psychology, 20% is risk management, trading strategy, and discipline. Now, what that means is that there is a mindset to trading this market. If you don't have it, there is nothing you can do. You would blow your money. So there's a way to trade. There's an approach to the market. All right. For example, the forex market is a probability market, meaning that each trade you take might go your way or not. Now, if you have that mindset that you are trading a random market, you would always have a parameter to manage your risk, meaning you must have what we call a stop loss that stops you. That means you tell the market, I know that you are going against me, but hey, this is the hedge. You cannot pass more than this. For example, I have $100. You can literally set to the market and say, I don't want to lose more than $2 per trade. Now, why people don't do that, all right, is because they believe that they know where these markets will go. So you see people projecting, if I enter this trade, I will go. So when people go into the financial market, they think profit first instead of capital preservation. So keep my capital first to look for what. So people look for what they don't have, all right, and do not save what they have. So it is because of knowledge, again, understanding of the market. People come into the forex market with their own understanding of finances, instead of understanding the market based on the market's perspective. All right. So when they come and then do that, when you think wrongly, you will act wrongly. So because they feel like their technical analysis or their strategy, all right, is correct, they would now by themselves superimpose on what they were supposed to do, and what will happen is that they will start taking action against themselves. So because they do not know that the market is random, they don't set a stop loss. So because they do not want to lose, they end up losing more. So it's because the market.
So there's a mechanism,
yes,
to prevent.
That's right.
The
so
loss of
in
so
the financial
much money.
market, there is risk and reward. You cannot get a reward without taking a risk. So people come into this market and say they do not want to lose. There is nothing like that. The financial market and risk comes hand in glove. It is managing the risk, not I do not want to. It is not for you. So you have to take a risk to look for a reward. So taking that risk is what people don't want to be responsible for. They don't want to take a loss. Meanwhile, when you were responsible and take that risk, all right, then you can protect your account. Because if you do not do that, then you do not have a mechanism to for the market to not go against you and take out all your money.
Okay, I know greed is a major factor,
massive,
especially when it comes to losses.
Yes.
I've had some individuals who've told me, they've lost a lot of money because they wanted to get a certain amount of money. So I know greed has a lot to play.
Yeah.
Do you teach on how to curtail your greed level or your hunger level?
Yeah.
How much greed, quote unquote, can you have to be able to be successful in the forex market?
Now that's where we teach about psychology of trading. Now, there's greed in every single man. It doesn't mean you're bad or good. All right, it has nothing to do with that. Every man has that inbuilt. All right,
because we're talking money here. Yes, of course there'll be greed.
So for example, I train people and then I teach them risk management, and they say, sir, no, I'm a very calm person. I say, relax. You have not made $1,000 per day. You have not seen where you have made 2K per day. Some of you have not seen that money in a whole year. Wait till you see it. You know how you know people, all right? Two things, power and money. So when you give people power and money, their real self is being revealed. So the forex market is a mirror that really shows you who you are. All right. So, but the truth about this great thing is that many people think that the forex market, because you can place it on your phone, all right, is a game. That's a joke. All right. The same way you treat your business is the same way you should treat the forex market, with the same seriousness that you treat your business. So, meaning that when we teach psychology, when you understand the mindset of trading, all right, you'll be able to have what we call self-control, patience, and discipline. Because now that you know what the market is about and what the market can do, all right, you would always make sure that I protect myself. All right. Now this is where self-control and discipline comes in. All right. Nobody can inbuild or inject discipline for you. You have to know that if I don't do this, I will lose all my money. And since I don't have where money is being printed or a tree where money falls,
can pluck
I can block the money like leaf. I have to save this capital that I have.
All right, let's get your phone number and contact details.
Okay, now so to register for the Wealth Creation Seminar, all you have to do is to register and save a slot. Now to do that, send your name and your email address to 070-680-11680. If you're hearing me and then you want to know more about the psychology of trading, you want to know about risk management, you want to know about the true mindset of forex trading, you want to know about trading strategy and the skill of discipline, just to register and save a slot, all you need to do is to send your name and email address to 070-680-11680. Now the seminar will be holding at the BD Swiss Abuja office. Now this is located at 25 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5. Time 9 a.m. and remember, it is on Saturday the 23rd of March. That is this month.
All right, 23rd of March.
Yes.
23rd of March, rather.
Yes. Yeah.
It's at the BD Swiss office.
Yes, that's 25 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5.
How do you participate?
All you need to do is to register and save a slot. Just send your name and email address to 070-680-11680. I repeat, 070, your name and email address to 070-680-11680.
All right, thank you so much, Ebuka from BD Swiss,
Thank
for
you.
having a conversation with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you.
To you listening, thank you so much. This is the morning ride, and of course, coming up next is the sports bit. I've overshot my time, Uncle Fine Boy, and they'll be looking at me with the stink eye right now. But thank you so much. My name is Gesire Agua. Good morning to you, and I'll be back at 9 a.m. Good morning.
News. Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports. Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.